Today, we're reminding you to stay weather aware as we track Hurricane Idalia. At this hour, Idalia, a Category 1 storm.
It did make landfall this morning as a Cat 3 around 7:45. Right now, the storm is packing winds up to 105 miles an hour as it moves across Florida.
So take a look at this new video from Cedar Key. You can see just how massive the flooding is there. Evacuation orders already in place throughout low-lying areas of the state. So let's send it out to Jay Gray live in Gainesville with the latest.
Well, Idalia has made landfall now and is pushing into Florida. We are here in Gainesville on the right side of the storm, or the dirty side, so we expect to see conditions continue to deteriorate throughout the morning and into the midday and even evening here. Of course, this is home to the University of Florida, 50,000 students, a huge faculty there locked down on the campus there and watching what unfolds. We've seen throughout the morning the outer bands of this storm moving through, so you get some of the rain, you get some of the wind. That's going to grow, that's going to intensify, and it's going to be sustained for several hours. This is also a part of the state. You know, you think of Florida and you think of beaches and sand. They have a lot of trees here, and so a big concern that the trees will be pulled down, that the power lines as well, and so that's going to be an issue as we continue to move forward with this storm. And as it pushes through, it's going to then move into Georgia and eventually the Carolinas. The Hurricane Center is saying it still may be a Category 2 when it reaches Georgia over land, so that speaks to the intensity of this storm. Right now, a bit of a lull between those bands that are moving through. We know, though, again, that the worst of this storm, especially in this area, is still to come. That's the latest from Gainesville. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
Jay, thanks. Idalia also having impacts here in the Carolinas. We have team coverage right now. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy here in the studio with the latest on the track.
And Kia Murray is at Charlotte Douglas with more and a look at the storm and the snarling travel. So before Chris joins us, here's a live look from Myrtle Beach. Both North and South Carolina under a state of emergency. The North Carolina coast could see storm surges between 1 and 4 feet.
And a live look right now at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's where people evacuating the hurricane are able to go. RVs, trailers, and more allowed to park there on the campgrounds, and there are bathrooms as well for folks to use. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy joins us now with what we should expect to happen here in our area. Chris.
Well, Ben, I'm happy to say that I think the further south you go, that's where you're seeing more rain. The further north, not much at all. So things are actually improving for us in the Charlotte area. And the improvement that I'm seeing here with Idalia is that it is really picking up the pace. Now moving north-northeast at 20 miles per hour, and then I'll start to move more of an easterly path. That is going to minimize the rain. Still going to see a lot of it. And then also it's weakening very, very quickly. The National Hurricane Center had about 100 mile per hour sustained winds estimated for 2 o'clock. It's not even noon. It's down to 90, so there's a good chance we're going to be calling this tropical storm Idalia here in the next couple of hours. So it's nice to see it unravel. It will soon start to shift a little bit. Here's a closer look at the storm. A lot of rain in the northern tier. This is what's going to be plaguing especially South Carolina heading into North Carolina over the next 18 to 24 hours. We're seeing the first signs of some very light rain. So let's call this sprinkles, a little bit of drizzle starting to move into our southern counties. The Charlotte area, I think you're going to anticipate a little bit more widespread light rain over the next hour or two. So up to 2 o'clock, we're seeing some of that light rain move in. Starts to become a lot heavier from about 4 to 6 down to the south in Lancaster, southern parts of Union County, Wadesboro, Chirac, seeing this as well. But notice that most of those brighter bands stay down here. That's the northern part of Idalia at that point, and it's starting to push its way off towards the east. So that's going to keep a very wet forecast for Chesterfield, Anson, and Richmond County. That's where I think I have the biggest flood concern for today, because you're looking at a range of up to a 1/4 inch for the Charlotte area, about 1 to 2 inches further down to the south. So things definitely trending in a good direction for us. We'll be a little bit cooler as well. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Don't expect a lot of sunshine because that cloud deck is very, very large around this storm. Still very humid. Lower to the mid 70s is that air you can wear. Hour by hour forecast. Feeling like the lower 80s overnight tonight, dropping to the upper 60s. Coming up, I'll let you know when the last drops could fall and when we'll see some sunnier skies.
Well, the storm is having major impacts on flights across the southeast. At this hour, dozens of flights are either canceled or delayed.
WCNC Charlotte's Kia Murray now monitoring the situation over at Charlotte Douglas. Kia, we know sometimes these things can have a domino effect across the country. What are you seeing there at the airport?
That's right. I'm here at Charlotte Douglas. We've been seeing people trickle in and out of the airport, but at the last check, when we're talking about those updates that are specifically impacting our travelers, it was about 88 flights that were delayed. Another 73 were canceled. And guys, that number has been slowly ticking up over the past few hours because that's how long we've been tracking it. Now, as far as Hurricane Idalia itself, I mean, we've been watching these changing conditions for the past few hours now. And just to give some context to all of those changes, when we were covering it earlier this morning, you know, we were talking about a Category 3 hurricane. At some point it was upgraded to a Category 4. Now we're talking about Category 1. Now getting back to those updates that impact our travelers specifically, American Airlines, the hub here, they did let folks know that for those who had tickets in the Carolinas, Georgia, parts of Florida, well, they are going to allow them to change those tickets for free. They're going to go ahead and waive those fees. They're not the only airline doing so. A lot of those big names that are doing the same thing, it's going to be Delta, it's going to be JetBlue, Spirit, Allegiant. Of course, for the travelers themselves, though, you want to just go ahead and check in with your carrier to figure out what those policies are and then go ahead and figure out if you need to get your money back. For now, though, we're going to keep you updated on all of the travel updates that you need to know to keep you and your family safe. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right, Kia, live for us at the airport. Thank you.
And folks, it is important to stay up to date on Idalia as it moves through our area. The best way to do that is the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. Make sure you have it downloaded with weather alerts turned on so you can know what's happening in your area.